The sons of Korah move from remembering God's past favor to pleading for its return. The tone shifts. Verses 1 through 3 stood on settled ground. Verse 4 steps back into present need. Turn us, O God of our salvation, and cause thine anger toward us to cease. Psalm 85, verse 4. The psalmist prays for what he already declared true in verse 3. This is not a contradiction. It is the difference between a nation's history and a generation's present experience. God turned away his wrath at the return from exile, yet the psalmist writes, as though some measure of that anger still presses on the people. Discipline can outlast the initial judgment. A father may forgive a child and still require correction to continue for a season. The psalmist does not argue with God's right to discipline. He asks for the turning to become complete, addressing God as the God of our salvation, grounding the request in God's identity rather than the nation's merit. Wilt thou be angry with us forever? Wilt thou draw out thine anger to all generations? Psalm 85, verse 5. The question presses further, using the emphatic form that carries real urgency, not detached theological inquiry. The psalmist knows God's anger has a purpose and a limit, revealed throughout the law and the prophets, yet the felt weight of present discipline makes the question necessary. This mirrors the honest complaints found throughout the Psalms, where believers voice their pain without accusing God of injustice. The question exposes fear, not doubt. The psalmist fears prolonged silence, not that God has changed his character. Wilt thou not revive us again, that thy people may rejoice in thee? Psalm 85, verse 6. Here, the request shifts from removal of wrath to restoration of life. Revive carries the sense of returning to life after near death, the same word used elsewhere for resurrection imagery. The nation limps along under discipline, existing but not thriving, present in the land but absent in joy. The psalmist connects revival to rejoicing, showing that true spiritual life produces gladness, not mere survival. This joy is not detached happiness, but joy in thee. The psalmist does not ask for prosperity as an end in itself. He asks for renewed life, so that the fruit of that life, joy centered on God, might return to the community. This truth can be seen in the pattern of revival history, where genuine spiritual awakening always produces renewed delight in God rather than mere improved circumstances. Show us thy mercy, O Lord, and grant us thy salvation. Psalm 85, verse 7. The prayer reaches its final petition, using the covenant name Lord, the name bound to Israel's redemption from Egypt, and every subsequent act of deliverance. Shu implies visibility, a mercy that can be seen and known, not hidden or assumed. The psalmist asks for mercy displayed, matching the visible favor described in verse 1. He pairs this with a request for salvation, using the same word found in verse 4, tying the entire prayer together. The God who saved Israel from exile is asked once more to save, not because his character has changed, but because the people need a fresh display of what he has always been willing to give. These 4 verses show the shape of biblical lament turned toward hope. The psalmist does not manufacture confidence apart from truth, nor does he collapse into despair apart from prayer. He presses his questions toward the God he trusts, asking for the completion of what God has already begun.